Hello Stampers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you this fun Hinge Closure card made with the Blessings of Home stamp set. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. So first of all, if you're going to place an order, here's my Hostess code that I have active right now. Here are the card dimensions, and I'll walk you through them. We're going to start off with the card background that is 7.5 by 5.5 inches, and score it at 4 1/4 on the long side. It'll look like this. And a piece of designer series paper, which is 3 inches by 5 1/4. This is a beautiful paper that comes with the set. It's called Heart and Home, and the back side's really fun too. It's got a fun neutral side, and then we're going to put a card insert on the inside, which is white, and it's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then we're going to take 2 pieces of cardstock to make the buckle, and let me just get into that because that's what we're going to do first. I took a piece of fresh Freesia that was 3.5 by 5.5 inches, and a piece of basic white. There it is. Gosh, I couldn't find it. Cardstock, which is 2 3/4 by 5.5 inches. And the first thing that I want to do is stamp on this one here. And I'm going to use my Memento ink. So I'm going to use this one. It's a little bit newer. And this is the stamp set that we're using today. Now with these big ones, I like to just put it upside down and tap it with the ink pad, and then you can see if it's nice and dark, and it looks great. Let me get a piece of paper in here because I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to stamp it right up this way towards the top, right about there. Now this comes out kind of light. It's really gorgeous. That's intentional. That's how the stamp set's designed. And it's just beautiful, very soft. I'm going to just clean that with my Simple Chamois. And then the next step will be to cut it out. Now for this particular card, I used the Ornate Frames dies, which are beautiful, but sadly they are retiring. So I did just want to point out, I used this one here, and for the purple or the fresh Freesia, I used this one. You could also, if they retire and you see this video and you're like, oh, I didn't get that one, you can actually use the rectangle stitch framelits, which is in the new catalog. And you can see that this one is about the 4th size down. So you could do that. So you could use this yellow and orange one and get, you know, a similar look. Alrighty, so in the interest of time, I just laid this on here, ran it through my machine, and this one as well. And this is what I got. That and this. And so the next thing I want to do is color this one, and I'm going to use my stamping blends to do that. And I'm going to start with my light fresh Freesia. What I love about these blends is that they're the same color as the paper, and you can get some really gorgeous looking cards that match your paper. This is very pretty. The designer series paper has the same shades, and so you can get some really gorgeous cards. And I love using these blends. They're alcohol-based markers, and they give such vivid colors, but also kind of sheer, so you can see through them. But very beautiful and very good for blending. So I'm taking my light fresh Freesia first. I like to work with my light colors first. and I'm coloring in the flowers, and in this case I'm going to color in 3 flowers, the 3 big ones. And the Stampin' Blends has 2 sides. It has this brush side, and it also has a fine tip side. In this case I'm using the brush side. So I'm going to use that really big flower, and then this one here. Oops, I did not mean to color that. No worries. I'll show you what we can do about that in a minute. So when I make these videos, I stand up, and it's sort of harder for me to make cards standing up. I don't always see things that I might sitting down. All right, I'm going to move this around this way. Just think I can see it better. Okay, this is a leaf with that flower. And this is a leaf right here. These are leaves. They're not leaves, they're petals, sorry. I've obviously been sniffing my glue or something. There we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, and so that one I sort of went over, so I'm going to take my color lifter and see if I can remove that color. That's what this is. I want to remove the color right there. So I want to give it a minute to activate, and I'm going to have to go back over it in a sec. Honestly, I should have used this fine tip side. There, see, I was taking the color off, and I'm going to let it dry a little, and then I'll go back over it. Nice, huh? Yeah, you want to get the color lifter for sure. All right, I'm going to go on with some other colors, and then I'll come back to that. So I'm going to take my light Daffodil Delight and color the center of these flowers, the big ones. I just want to make sure that repaired area is dry before I start coloring it in again. And it's really not quite dry. So let's take the dark fresh Freesia, and this time I'm going to use the fine tip side, and I'm going to just color in these darker areas, or shading, which is what's so awesome about these markers. They make artists out of pretty much everyone. I would say before I colored with these, I was somewhat of a mediocre watercolorer, but now I can be pretty good with these markers. All right, I think that's ready for me to come back and try to color it again. There, fixed my boo-boo. And let me do a little bit of shading on that one. And they're good as new. Now you might notice that as these dry, they kind of lighten in their color a little. And that's how they're designed, is supposed to do that. And now I'm taking the dark Daffodil Delight. Each one of these Stampin' Blends has 2 colors, a light and a dark. And they work really well together, the 2 shades. You can actually bring in other shades. One of the ladies in my stamp club did that, actually on this card, and it was quite stunning. All right, so now I'm going to take gray granite. I'm going to start with the light gray granite and I'm using the brush side again, and do these little flowers. I thought that these colors were gorgeous together. So I find it very relaxing to color these cards, and really with not a lot of effort you can make truly gorgeous cards that you made yourself. Like, what could be better? So I did kind of go over there, but you can just color on top, and usually the colors will kind of remove the other color that was there before. You know what? That should be fresh freesia. So let me go back over that. I missed a petal. Whoops. I'm just throwing them all around now. I'm going to use a fine tip on this one because it is a little smaller flower, and I don't want to get into the other colors. And then I've got some more little flowers over here. They kind of remind me of dogwood, which, you know, maybe they are dogwood. I don't know. Was my mom's favorite flower. She's sadly gone now, but I have a dogwood tree in the backyard, and so happy I do. Every time it blooms, it just reminds me of the happy times that I had with my mom. She was an awesome mom. Taken way too soon, but really about the best mom you could ever have. So hopefully my kids will say the same about me someday. And then I took the dark gray granite and I did the center of the flower. With them, and then just some shading. So this card has probably more coloring than many of the cards that I do, but like I said, it's very relaxing. And like, it looks good when you're done. Like, it's pretty depressing to spend time making something that doesn't look good. So when you do make it look good, it's very rewarding. All right, and then the last thing I did was I took the soft seafoam, which I thought was a color that really worked with these shades, and did the leaves. Now you're probably wondering why I wrote on this, but I'll show you why in a sec. And that's actually going to go behind the card base, so you're not even going to see it. But I wanted to be able to tell you where to score at for the buckle or the hinge. I don't, they might be called buckle fold too, or hinge fold cards if you did a Google search. I think I called it a hinge fold, but it could also be a buckle fold. So isn't that pretty? So that's done now, and we're going to take the paper cutter, which of course is practically out of reach, but I got it. And let me get the purple one too. Here we go. Fresh freesia. Alrighty, so I wrote down where to score at. On the fresh freesia, we're going to score at 3 5/8 inches. So the scoring blade, it's not really a blade, but is this lighter one. So I'm going to put this at 3 5/8 inches, which is right about there. And you don't really want to score on the embellished part. It's probably gonna, it would probably like split if you did, so I'm not going to do that. And then the white I'm going to do at 3 1/4 inches, which is There's right there. Always make sure you got the right blade. I can't tell you how many times I've cut that off. Here we go. Alrighty, so it's going to look like that. It's really easy to cut it by accident. And for this, I used, get one that's open, my Tombow. I like using Tombow for this because you've got a little bit of wiggle room before it sets, and I'm only doing it from the fold line over. And I'm going to line up the little, oh, actually I'm going to line up the score line. There, that looks good. Actually it's too far up. It's probably too late. Let's try that again. All right, that looks good. All right, and now I just want to fold it on my line there. And like I said, this will tuck under. I'm going to take my card base and I want to go ahead and just glue this to the white before I put it down. And I'm going to put it like right in the middle, like that. Okay, and now I'm going to put glue on the white base. Being careful not to get too close to the edge, otherwise it will ooze out, which is not good. Makes me sad when it does that. And there we go. We are, whoops, we're not quite done. This is quite pretty like that, but I also put designer series paper on here. So let me do that. Oh, that looks upside down. That looks better. And there's our finished card. I did want to show you the dies that coordinate with this. I'm going to take my bone folder and just get that to lay down a little bit flatter. I'll do that here too so it lays flat. I didn't use them today, but these are the dies that coordinate with this stamp set. And these two larger ones cut out the two flower images, and then the rest of these are just floral embellishments, and you can see that they are gorgeous. Let's see if I can find these little flowers here can just lay on top, and of course I can't find the die to show you. Anyway, oh duh, they're right in front of me. These three flowers here cut out these little flowers, so very pretty. We used this stamp set for on stage, and here are three other cards that we made. I never really showed them on video, but you've probably seen them around, maybe on other people's videos. And so these use like the elements, those little elements that I was telling you about, and they're really pretty. This one we colored with a sponge dauber, so there's other ways you can color these stamp sets. You can use watercolor pencils. I've seen that done, and it's really quite stunning. This one just, I think we just used a watercolor marker for that one. And so these were quick and easy cards and a lot of fun to make. And this was a card we did today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you come back and check out my other videos. Please subscribe and like my channel. I'm just getting started and I need all the support I can get. And if you need to place an order, I'll put the information for the Hostess code in the description, and would love it if you would order from me. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.